Our next presentation is the Fairfield Batting Cage Project. Athletic Director Aaron Blankenship.
Well, good evening, members of the board. I'd like to start by saying thank you. I don't get a chance to stand here at a board meeting very often, but just want to thank you for your leadership during these unprecedented times, during some difficult times. Leadership isn't easy right now, so I appreciate you answering the call, and I appreciate really all you do for our school district. Additionally, as athletic director of the district, I appreciate your support of all extracurriculars. As we heard from Ms. Wilhelm, and we were able to celebrate some members of our fine arts department. Fairfield's a great place to be, and I appreciate you as the board and other members of administration, how present you are at events. From Friday nights to concerts to Crystal Classic here in a few weeks. We appreciate the time you devote for Thursday nights, but also to be at our student athletes and our student performers, their events. And so it doesn't go unnoticed, but a huge thank you from the whole athletic department to you guys. It's been quite the weekend for Fairfield Athletics. Going back this past weekend, we celebrated our first Fairfield alum in the Super Bowl. Boys basketball team won their second straight GMC title. We were able to invite multiple swimmers and divers onto districts, and finally tomorrow we'll send off one of our female wrestlers, Rachel Elizondo, to the girls state wrestling tournament in Columbus. All of those are great accomplishments of our student athletes. I want to give a special thank you to Mr. Smith for inviting me out tonight to address another major accomplishment that didn't take place in the pool or on the hardwood or on the mat, but deserves celebration nonetheless. Members of the board, inside your packet you will see a flyer titled the Fairfield Senior High School Batting Cage, sponsored by Walt Lunsford. I'll walk you through a little bit about how we got here, and I'll walk through where we stand today. So every year, Mr. Rodney Hubbard, Mr. Kim Nuxall, they are the ones who founded the Fairfield Baseball Legacy Fund. So every year around the holidays, they do a special fundraising kick to increase not only their endowment, but to also see if they can provide any special additional gifts for our baseball team. And so the Fairfield Legacy Fund, just an opportunity for our baseball program alumni members to be able to connect and support, primarily financially, but in other ways, but mostly financially, support our current team. Again, as I mentioned, every year they run a special push around the holidays just to see what additional items they can fundraise. During this year's fundraising, they were approached by a 1971 alum, Mr. Walt Lunsford, about doing something special. So Mr. Lunsford donated to their end of the year campaign, but also addressed a specific challenge. He challenged the Legacy Fund with a $20,000 matching grant, with the stipulation that he would like for the $20,000 hopefully to be matched by our alum, but also to go into something that could directly impact the baseball program immediately. And so obviously the $20,000 donation was something that kicked us into overdrive and got us meeting immediately about what would most benefit our student athletes. One of the things we came up with was a new batting cage. So those who are familiar with Joe Nuxall Field, it would be right on the right-hand side, the first base side of that complex. It would be one of the largest in Southwest Ohio. What we're designing would be two full-length batting cages back-to-back, but an additional tee work area that could be used by not only our varsity players, but other players in the area. But it hopefully changed the whole footprint of that stadium over the long term. So the goal was to raise first the $20,000 to be able to match the $20,000 grant that was given. But we realistically knew the goal that we had, and given the prices of building right now, we're looking at closer to $30,000 to be able to pull this off. So we started that just a few weeks ago, and simply put, the results have been amazing. It's been one of the coolest things that I can say I've ever been a part of in a place where we talk about Fairfield pride all the time. This is one of the coolest things I've seen. And so again, we started with that goal of $20,000. Within roughly 10 to 11 days, we had met that $20,000 goal. As we stand here today, my most recent estimate is we're at about $38,000 raised. So that's before the other $20,000 contributed by Mr. Lunsford. And so we still have about 12 days left of the campaign. So we're still pushing. As those of you who've been involved in fundraising know, really the tail end is hopefully where you're making the final push and you're making up some ground. And so we're really hoping that over these last 10 days we can look at other needs that we have at the baseball diamond, but also the softball complex there together at Nilles, and provide the best opportunities we have for our kids. Moving forward, we're really looking at my focus is how can we help best, as Mr. Smith often talks about, tell our story over there at both of those fields. Both softball and baseball at Fairfield have a rich history. We'd like to find a way to properly celebrate that rich history and also help our alumni come back. Those that are contributing to this fund, give them the reason to come back and watch some of the games in the spring. And so it's been a great process. Everyone who's been involved in it, such an uplifting and positive experience for us. I've been able to talk with alumni that are local, that are kind of coming back into the fold, and also talk to alumni from all over the country that have heard about this via Facebook. And so we're excited what the last 12 days might hold for this fundraiser. But as I mentioned before, it's a great time to be involved in Fairfield Athletics. And based on the results and the generosity of our alumni, the future looks even brighter. So thank you again.
Thank you. Any comments, questions?
Aaron, thank you for your leadership. I mean, you make our job easy. You do what you do, and your passion for the kids and the athletics department in general, man. Thank you so much for doing what you do. You said we're up to 38, not including this, so we're...
Correct, yeah. So it's 38 given outside of the 20.
That's
From
fantastic.
Mr. Lunsford. So $58,000 total, and that's give or take a few donations that are in process right now.
So we'll need to share this, and at the end, we'll need to promote this amongst ourselves the last 10 days to charge through. So
Great, thank
I
you.
heard you mention the girls softball, and I'm passionate about that because of my daughter, so
Absolutely,
I'll push for that, some of that to go more towards the girls' field.
absolutely, yeah. It's a great place over there, and I think, viewing that as one major complex in our athletic department is a great thing, so.
And like you said in the beginning, we have a lot of great students that are in and have gone through. The student that played for the Bengals, that's Fairfield pride right there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. So thank you so much.
Great, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Blankenship. Under your leadership, we're definitely growing. Our athletics, it's just getting better and better and better. So thank you so much for everything that you've done and for giving the kids such a wonderful training ground and opportunity. We appreciate it.
Great, thank you.
Mr. Blankenship, thank you. Thank you to Mr. Lunsford, the other donors, and a special thanks to the Fairfield Community Foundation for facilitating the pass-through fund that will accommodate this.
Great, thank you. Thank you.
Is there anything else that you need from us?
No, at this time, I don't think so. Again, I think it's just been a great process, and I appreciate the opportunity to share it with you guys.
Excellent. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.